Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today on House Chat Podcast. My name is Asida. I am your host. Today, joining us on the show to discuss the topic, how crucial have mental health issues become in the light of the current global challenges, is Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur, who is the Acting Director of University of Professional Studies, Accra Medical Directorate. Dr. Arthur has over 12 years of clinical experience in managing medical and mental health related issues. He has worked with several government and private health institutions and corporate organizations and online services for local and international clients. Dr. Arthur is also a public relations officer for the Ghana Psychological Association. He offers part-time consultancy services for Acacia Medical Center, Britannia Medical Center and Port Clinic. Dr. Arthur is also a part-time lecturer at Family Health Medical University and Daniel Institute. He is a media personality consulting for several media organizations and is a regular guest on various TV and radio programs in Ghana and abroad. Dr. Newman Arthur has been a public speaker for the past 20 years at various conferences for various religious organizations, NGOs, and corporate organizations. He is an author of 5 books on mental health, purpose, marriage, and relationships. His other interests include creative carpentry and graphic designing. He is a married man with 2 children.
Hello, welcome to House Chat Podcast.
House Chat Podcast.
And it's my single honor to invite our special guest, Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur. Hello, Doctor. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on.
Yeah, we are also glad. We are also glad to be here, and I believe with the conversation we are going to talk about today, the topic we are looking at is how crucial have mental health issues become in the light of the current global challenges. That's COVID, economic hardship, and all that. How critical have mental health issues become? So that's the very reason why we have you here, and we are so much privileged to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to say greetings to all those who are listening or watching you. Thank you.
Yeah, they appreciate it. They appreciate it. All right. So without much ado, I would like to you to tell us a little of your background. Why did you choose to go into this particular profession?
Well, I think growing up, I've always loved health and health-related issues. And as I went to medical school and stuff, I realized that one of my core areas was mental health. And it comes naturally to me. And so that is one of the reasons. Then again, I love attending to mental health related problems. And if you look at the gap in terms of mental health care in Ghana and other parts of the world, there's a huge one to with my interest and also deciding to make a difference in that area was a huge motivation. And most of the ills we have around, if you go distance of those, you realize major problems, mental problems. So the people might well be able to got interested in related problems.
Oh, okay. Something related to mental issues. How was it welcome when you intended to do that? Maybe from your family or even your friends? Was there anything like they making fun of all professions? Is that the only thing you could do? Did you encounter something like that?
Initially, it's not really because of the stigma relating to the profession, but it was something that wasn't the first thing that came to people's minds. when they were going into some medical profession, because as a medical school, everybody expects you to go into either what you call it, surgery or general medicine, or even go into obstetrics and gynecology and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it was quite off. So I had that kind of misgivings or slight opposition from their parents and all that. But with time they got to understand the whole meaning into it now. It was because mental come up. So that was at the beginning stage of my profession.
I am beginning to understand how important this thing is to you. Like how would you explain to someone like who is also wishing to go in to understand the importance of this profession, especially finding like where we find ourselves in an economy like this?
Yes, so I made earlier, submissions about the fact that I think health is more dimensional: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. But if you look at the current teaching on the dimensions of health, the various aspects of health, you can group them broadly into physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Physical, mental, social, and spiritual. And I think that out of the four, physical, mental health, I think, is the most important, because mental health basically deals with how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. And how that thinking and feelings and behavior is affecting your life. And all diseases, if you look at all diseases, heart problems, diabetes, hypertension, look at, neuro, problems, and obstetric issues. If you look at almost every mental health about it. More than 2/3 of all illnesses have just psychosocial implications. So mental health related problems is the important of all people. You see, and that becomes the driver. And there is a huge gap in terms of treatment and managing of mental health related problems.
I see.
So you may have a lot more people going into other health professions and not mental health because people really don't get it. And so there's a huge gap, and someone has to fill it. And if you look at all over the world, the budget allocation, for mental health, related problems, it's very, very small. Some countries don't even allocate anything for mental health.
I see.
If you look at health related, if you have insurance for mental health related issues, it is not as it's supposed to be. So there is a huge gap. And so anybody who has an interest, in mental health, they should be able to pursue it, because we need a lot more. In Ghana, for example, you may have less than 1,000 mental health professionals that have to registered mental health professionals that have to be, attend to about 30 million people. I'm a medical doctor and also a mental health professional. If you look at the doctors who go into psychology, and become clinical psychologists and stuff, we are less than 10 in Ghana. If you look at psychiatrists in Ghana, they are less than 100. So there is a huge gap globally. Globally, there is a gap when health related professions and healthcare. And so anybody who wants to go into that, is very important. And we do more preventive healthcare, preventing all kinds of problems from coming up with people. So there's a huge gap. And I think that anybody who is interested in that must be able to fill in that gap. Yes.
And thanks so much for this encouragement, because people would always want to go to places where it's convenient. They wouldn't have much answers to give and all that. Like, I don't want to answer too many questions, the reason why I want to go into this particular profession and all that, and the stigma, as you mentioned. So they stick to what is convenient. And I believe whoever is listening or watching will be encouraged now to understand the need. If you have the passion for it, don't let anyone stop you. I think it's a good thing to do.
You're listening to House Chat Podcast with Asida.
Yeah, I know you're enjoying the show so far. How is it helping you? leave your comment in the comment section. And again, if you have not subscribed, please do well to subscribe, okay, and also like and share. This will help us grow this channel because it will tell the YouTube algorithm that this is a good show, so that it will recommend to others too. Again, you can listen to the full episode on our podcast platforms. That's Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Thanks so much for your support.
You're listening to House Chat Podcast
with Asida.
And looking at this, we just gone through the COVID. We are still suffering its effect and all that. Now governments do not even know where to start from or what direction to take the nations to. And in the midst of all these things, how has this particular situation of global difficulties impacted individuals and communities? I mean, nationwide and even worldwide. How has it impacted their mental state?
So generally, if you look at all the data and all the statistics regarding mental health, realize that some issues have doubled, some issues have quadrupled and stuff like that. So there are basic, mental health issues that have become very, very prominent around the space. Anxiety. Anxiety about the future, their current survival, and how things are going to go and all that. And anxiety is a door to many, many problems. So a lot of people are anxious about many things because they don't know what will happen. They are not sure about where to get the next meal from. They are not sure about the global economic situation, when it's going to end. Some wars around the world, when things are going to end. It's going to, start a world war and all kinds of things. People are concerned about their kids' schools and what to do with them, in addition to all the moral-related problems going on around the world. Then secondly, also stress, the stress of reorganization of your life. A lot of people are stressed. Some people were, laid off, they lost their businesses.
Yes.
The stress of picking everything together, your reorganization. If a coping strategy fails, you are likely to go into some form of depression. So depression has become a big thing around this time. A lot of people feel worthless, they've lost energy, you feel silent like that. So depression and depression-related issues has also gone up. Then again, if you look at domestic violence and abuse has also gone up. Because now people are spending more time home than outside. And people in the past were using, social activities and staying away from home to actually cope with abuse. But now they have to be, a company of the abuser for a longer period of time. So abuse and abuse-related issues and the stresses of this time and all that serves as a trigger even for abuse of family members and things like that. So domestic violence, has gone up. Then again, if you look at people who have gone on admission for COVID and stuff like that, even the experience itself, all the gadgets in hospital, no smart face masks, PTSD, post-traumatic stress problems have gone up. Especially even with workers, if you look at mental health workers and also clinic workers, medical professionals, nurses, pharmacists, and all those people who work with those patients, PTSD has gone up because they're witnessing people dying. It's never happened in significant proportions as it is. If you look at the First and the Second World War, those things were happening. This time too, it's become very, very serious. Then again if you look at people's, health-related problems has worsened. So they may not be able to go for reviews the way they should. If they have some hypertension, diabetes, cancer, stroke, managing all those conditions have really worsened. And so with time, if people do not get good coping strategies to be able to deal with all those stresses, then it creates all kinds of problems. And it's long lasting. People are never the same. Even when things die down, they still will never be the same because most of the problems are lifelong. So some of these things have been going on around the world. And people have some other mental issues like schizophrenia, bipolar, and all those things. Stresses and all these things become a trigger for more episodes. Substance abuse has gone because people's dysfunctional way of coping with life situations to be able to deal with all their stresses. So across all the spectrum of health, things have really, really been damaging across the board. Significant anxiety and all other related problems. Things are never the same. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So, listeners and viewers, you are here on House Chat Podcast with me, Asida, and we have with us Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur. He's a medical doctor and a clinical health psychologist, and he is helping us to go through or navigate the topic: how crucial have mental health issues become in the light of the current global challenges? And we've learned a little more about what exactly this particular challenge the world over we are facing, what exactly is doing to our health in terms of our mental issues.
You're listening to House Chat Podcast
with Asida.
The discussion is getting very interesting, but you know what? Let's take a break here. We have a segment called Tell Me What. It's where we ask trivial questions, then like quite simple questions, then we continue. So I want to try that with you too. we are learning about like mental issues and all that. I know music plays a good part of it, as to how to relax, find a relaxing music and all that. I want to ask, what's your go-to music? I mean, you as a professional health personnel, what's your go-to music?
Oh, I'm purely gospel, so I don't do any music apart from gospel.
I see. So, what's your favorite of all time? Do you care to share with us?
I don't think I have any favorite of all time, but I have some favorite gospel artists who have significantly, influenced my life.
I see.
Significantly, maybe about 3 or 4. Yes, the first one is Don Moen.
Don Moen, okay.
Growing up in my formative years, my Christian life, Don Moen, his music really, God will make a way when they seem to be, it's an amazing.
Wow.
So Don Moen had a huge impact on the world growing up.
Okay.
Then I came to Hillsong. A lot of Hillsong, a lot of music really, helped me in my formative years.
Okay.
Then, some of her songs, I still listen to them, and all that. Jonathan Bynum had a huge, in terms of her music and all that, had a huge impact on me whilst growing up.
Right.
Then, in Ghana, I would say Joe Mettle. Joe Mettle, huge impact on me. I would say Ike Nano. There's a musician called Ike Nano. His also music really did a lot of influence on my life. What's going really. So another guy currently coming up, Richmond C. Stevens, very, very, very important. So across board, I've had all kinds of experiences with people, but I think that notably these people have had. I can mention a lot of gospel artists, and I love all of them. They are used, but these people, certain stages of my life, they had a huge kind of impact on my life. The reason is that gospel music is the safest. Most of those other music, some of them, the words. You see, words determine your mental state significantly. Words.
Okay.
So there are some other music, they are full of sad things. Sad music. I was abused. I was disappointed. Why did you do this to me? Why did you hurt me so badly? And so they are so depressing. So people who are depressed may listen to sad songs. When you are depressed, you don't listen to sad music. You listen to music that will lift you up. There's some music full of violence, nudity, vulgar words, and those things. influencing all kinds of behaviors. So, gospel music, almost all of them are encouraging words. If you won't listen to any gospel music and it's not uplifting in terms of the words in those songs.
Okay.
So I don't do. I even don't want to go into those kind of hip hop and those things, because most of the more you listen to those music, it affects how you think, it affects how you feel, and very soon before you realize it's modeling after your life. So that is why I don't do any other music. I don't. Yes.
You're listening to House Chat Podcast
with Asida.
We will go on. We'll go on with what do we have to look out for to tell that someone is suffering from mental issues? What are some of the signs we have to look out for? Because like the culture where we are coming from, it's just like we see funny people behaving in a funny way. We rather would want to make fun of the situation or the person, or pay little or no attention to it. So by the time we realize the person's situation is out of hand and there's little or no help we can offer. So what are some of the signs we have to look out for to tell that someone is having mental issues?
Okay, so the signs or symptoms across things that affect. And I said earlier on that when we say mental health, we're looking at 3 areas of the person's life: how they think, how they feel, and how they behave, and how that thinking, feelings, and behavior is affecting the person's life.
Okay.
Is it causing them distress? Is it making them unable to function? You wake up in the morning, you cannot do whatever you are supposed to do, and stuff like that. Is it causing damage to everything around you? And it's also deviating from social norms. So your thinking and feelings and behavior. So any thinking or feelings and behavior that is affecting you and other people and your functioning, it means that it's likely mentally you are not healthy. And there are 6 areas, of struggle for anybody who is likely not to be mentally serious. 1, the ability to cope and adjust to life situations. So anybody who is struggling to cope to life situations, you're going through things and you're struggling to cope, it means mentally you're not healthy. 2, your ability to form and maintain meaningful relationships. So all relationship dynamics are mental health. So if you're struggling with any kind of relationship, family-related relationships, spousal relationships, boy-girlfriend relationships, relationships at work, in church, wherever you are, when you realize you're struggling with your relationships, it's a sign that it's likely that mentally you're not healthy. 3, if you are mentally healthy, you should be able to have a positive self, perception about yourself. So anybody who struggles to accept themselves, their own identity, their internal and external qualities, they're not confident in themselves, like their problems. Then again, if you're mentally healthy, you should be able to pursue meaningful life goals. You should be able to dream and achieve those dreams. So if you're struggling to achieve your dreams in life, you're struggling to navigate your way through your goals, and you feel stagnated and you don't know what to do with your life, mentally you are not healthy.
Let's see.
Anybody who is mentally healthy, they should be able to dream and achieve those dreams. Then again, they should be able to live independently.
I see.
The 5th one, independently, according to their age. We expect both adults, elderly, and adults. We expect a certain level of independence at a certain age. If you realize that at your age, you're struggling to be independent as required of you, you realize it's a sign that mentally you're not. Because if you're mentally healthy, you should be able to navigate your way through life yourself. Then the final thing is that anybody who is mentally healthy, anywhere they find themselves, their presence is positive. They are a positive difference. It means that their presence in any social space does not threaten the peace and progress of that place. They're able to contribute meaningfully to society.
I see.
So if you realize that your presence is always causing problems, and that you're not able to, socially, navigate your way through all the social things and be positive. Your presence, some people in their families, they are the cause of in their, workplace. They realize that they're struggling to make a positive difference, and almost every problem is about them. It means mentally they're not healthy, because if you're mentally healthy, you are not satisfied with the status quo. You are always looking out to improve your environment, improve the society that you find yourself. If you are mentally healthy. So if you look at politics, you look at communities, people are always the reasons for the problem. Most of the things on the level of politics is a function of mental well-being. Why are you stealing the country's money? Why are you engaged in all kinds of corrupt deals? Why are you, the cause of the issues in your home? It's a sign that mentally you are not healthy. Because anybody's meant their press, adds to the plane, not becomes the form of the beast. So it's all this about. It sounds so general. It sounds so not mental health, but that is mental health. And there are a lot of people who make these things I've talked about as a personal issue and not a health issue, such that they struggle, and they don't get help. So anything you describe as bad, let's say the person has a bad behavior, what you are as a behavior, the mentality needs help. So all kinds of problems, addictions, depression, anxiety, stress, psychotic problems, sleep problems, look at impulse control problems, personality issues, sex-related problems, substance use, look at stress-related issues, like elderly people who have dementia and all that, look at anxiety-related issues, traumatic stress problems, identity issues with pregnancy, stress-related pregnancy, postpartum depression, financial-related problems, career-related problems, abuse. All these things are the mental health. And anybody who is experiencing any of these things, has a mental health problem, and they may need some kind of help.
Exactly. Well, this is really, really enlightening. I mean, most of the things you are talking about, it appears, I can even see myself in some of them, and it feels like I've never thought of it as it might be a mental issue. Wow, this is quite revealing. This is quite revealing. The conversation is getting very interesting. But you know what? We'll continue in the next episode. Leave your comment in the comment section. And again, if you have not subscribed, please do well to subscribe. Okay, and also like and share. This will help us grow this channel, because it will tell the YouTube algorithm that this is a good show, so that it will recommend to others too. Again, you can listen to the full episode on our podcast platforms. That's Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Thanks so much for your support. Thank you for joining me today.
This has been House Chat Podcast. Thanks for your time.